we have cable TV that's filming this, and I'm not sure if that's real flattering to me, and I'll tell you why. I was actually out walking today. I came over, went home, got cleaned up, came over. I was out walking today, knocked on a door, and a guy looked at me and says, "Hey, aren't you a city councilman?" He goes, "I watch you on TV." He goes, "You look a lot heavier on TV." My name is John Curl, and I was elected to the city council back in April of 2011. Prior to that, I actually served on the county board with Reverend Brooks for 13 years, and thoroughly enjoyed it. And I thoroughly enjoyed my time on the city council as well. As I said, I was elected for the first time in April 2011, and when I came on board with a lot of the other folks that got elected, we had some difficult challenges. We were in the middle of a deep recession, or coming off a very bad recession. In our city, like the national economy, was not, was in the middle of it. We were trying to get out of it. The first thing we did on the city council, we looked at our budget. For 2012, 13, 14, and this year for 15, we've had a balanced budget. That's never been done before, okay? We also set up a reserve fund. Today, as of the end of December 31st of 2013, we've got over a $40 million surplus. That's coming off a reserve of not having anything. So we worked very hard. We came through a lot of cuts, a lot of sacrifices by a lot of people. Just a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Joliet. Went to Joliet Elementary School, Joliet High School. I went to Lewis University. I graduated with my accounting degree in 1985. I'm currently a CPA. I passed the exam in 1987. I've been a practicing CPA for about 28 years. I have 2 children, a little bit about my family. Actually, I'm married to my wife, Renee, for 26 years. I never mentioned that. I have 2 children. My son, Johnny, just graduated from the University of Iowa with his accounting degree, and he's currently in grad school and studying for the CPA exam. My daughter, Haley, is a junior at the University of Missouri, and she is studying nursing out there. And my wife and I are very proud of our children. Something that I'm proud of, I think the city of Joliet, we've come a long way from 4 years ago. 4 years ago, our unemployment rate in the city of Joliet was about 14%. As of the end of December of 2014, it's about 7.3%. So we've almost cut that in half. Over the last 4 years, we've seen a lot of job creation.
Alexander, and this is a segment of Be Informed. I happen to have with me today Ms. Betty Gavin. She's councilwoman for District 4 and also seeking a candidate for a second term. Hi, Betty, how are you?
Hello, Julie. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay, thank you.
This is a great opportunity.
Okay, you're welcome, Betty, and thank you for doing the interview with me. And we're going to get started on, well, first of all, Betty, what made you decide to want to get in that position?
That is, I think, a calling from God.
Okay, okay, well, he will do that.
Julie, I have been working in the community for over 30 years.
Okay.
And working to improve the quality of life.
Okay.
It has been a passion of mine.
Okay.
To be able to connect people with services and provide services for people. I think that when we all come together to work, if we're looking to make a better city and a better community,
Yes.
because I certainly believe that great communities make great cities.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so this is how I've been doing. I've always been taught. My parents were people who always gave and always opened our house up to people in the community. And so that was, just like second nature to me.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So, because I know that you are the director right now. So, you've been in for how long now?
I've been in for 8 months now.
Okay.
The mayor appointed me 8 months ago. And so I had the opportunity to finish out Councilwoman Barber's term. And I have to, applaud the mayor for the courage that it took, especially when the mayor, and I don't always see eye to eye,
absolutely.
but I respect him for that courage to give me an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Because when you're working in the community to make change, what you're doing is pushing from the outside.
Absolutely.
And so now having this opportunity for 8 months to be sitting at the table, to make sure that I bring the voice of the people in District 4 to the table. What I certainly believe that the residents of District 4 needs they need a person who's a proven leader,
Okay,
a person of integrity,
okay,
good ethics, right? Fiscal responsibility, and to be able to be a visionary in this. And I think that my 30 years of service has a proven track record to get me there.
When you say 30 years of service, now, okay, the beginning, 30 years of
30
community
years
service?
of community service.
No kidding.
I moved to this area back in 74.
Okay.
And so when I talk about service, I'm talking about also being connected with my children's school.
Okay, all right.
Being connected with the church.
All right.
And I had the awesome opportunity to define where my passion was when I became a member of the National Hookup of Black Women.
Okay, all right.
Whose mission at that time and still today is to work to improve the quality of life.
Okay.
And be advocates for women and their children.
And not only that, but to recognize those that are doing good deeds, such as me, you know.
Yes,
And I want to thank you all so much for that.
it
That
was
means
well
so
deserved.
much. Okay.
Well deserved for
Okay.
you to be one of our Gold Star
Okay.
recipients.
Okay.
And that is one of my things. When we see people working in the community
Okay.
to bring value such as you do, I
Okay.
think this is an excellent opportunity
Okay.
that you do what you do because it brings value to the community, brings knowledge. And a well-informed voter is a great voter.
Absolutely.
And so I applaud you for your work and all the things that you do
And I thank
in
you.
the community.
I thank you. We have a lot of wonderful things going on in the community. I may not be able to get to all of them or film all of them, but I try. And so, but with God's help, it'll get better. It always does.
Yeah.
But let's go on to speak about you, Betty, in your first 8 months rather,
Yes.
on the city council board, and we've come up with some topics and some issues. Some are hot and some are not so hot. But let's start with one of the hot ones, and that's Evergreen Terrace.
Evergreen
Give me your
Terrace.
take on that, Betty.
I believe, here's what I think about
Okay.
Evergreen Terrace. I believe that the residents of Evergreen Terrace deserve better.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, good.
And they deserve a quality of life. And we have found out from past history that we cannot warehouse people like that and expect them to have a great quality of life. And so from the city's perspective of gaining control of Evergreen Terrace, I think that it's a welcome thing to do.
Okay.
That we gain control and we're able to provide the residents not only with housing there, but housing throughout the city.
Okay, now when you say gain control, do you mean purchasing, owning the property? Or what?
I would love to see where, as you know, right now, we're in the process of going to court right now.
Right,
to find
absolutely,
out. Yeah.
absolutely, I know.
And so we'll have the opportunity to
Okay.
purchase it. Now,
Okay.
finding the money to purchase it.
Different
It's a
story.
different story.
Okay, right.
But I certainly think that with the investment that we've already put into
Okay.
it, that we should have the opportunity.
Okay.
Not that the city will become landlords.
Yes,
Because
okay.
there are so many agencies out there that can do this kind of work.
Absolutely.
They do it every day.
Absolutely.
And
And that's their
so-
specialty.
Absolutely, absolutely. So turning that over to an agency that
Oh,
can do that,
Okay, okay.
for me would be great. And it would be great for the residents.
Okay.
Because now you have a quality of life issue there that we want to provide for you.
Okay.
And not only, it may come to a density point where
Right.
we have to reduce the density.
Right.
But affordable housing is a key issue for us.
Okay.
We must have enough housing stock
Okay.
so that we can provide those residents who do want to stay in Joliet. Now,
Okay.
some may want to move out of the area.
And that's where the voucher would come in?
Yes,
am I
the
not-
voucher would come
Okay.
in that respect. But I believe that we have enough affordable housing
Okay.
stock,
Okay.
and we can create more to make sure that the residents do who want to
Okay.
reside
Right.
in Joliet have that opportunity.
Okay, okay, great. Well, Ms. Gavin, there's another tough issue out there, and that is that intermodal and those trucks and that traffic, and oh my God.
Yes.
Let's
Oh
talk
my
about
God.
that.
We're talking about economic
Okay,
development.
right.
Here's how I feel.
Okay.
Because we do need jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and we need good paying jobs,
Right.
quality
Absolutely.
jobs,
Yes.
sustainable paying
Yes.
wages.
Mm-hmm.
And so with having the intermodal found itself, landing in our facility
Absolutely.
and in our area.
Yes, yes.
It does a couple
Yes.
of good things
Yes,
for
it
us.
does.
Okay.
It does.
It creates those jobs. It brings more people into,
Absolutely.
the city is growing, the county is growing.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Along with that comes the other issue on the backside, is the trucking, okay?
The truck.
And so we have to pay particular attention to our infrastructure, how we plan that out and how that progresses out, and how do we divert
Okay.
some of that truck traffic
Okay.
that going through neighborhoods
Mhm.
and make it again, another quality of life issue
Right, right.
there.
Right.
So
Well, there have been a couple of proposals out there to build a bridge and
Yes,
and then
yes.
I'm the Ileana
Yeah,
highway.
Toll
So
Road is-
yeah, which
is
one are you in
great.
favor of both?
I'm in favor of both,
Okay,
actually.
all right.
I believe that Indiana brings a great
Right.
resource to us.
Absolutely.
From Indiana as well as Illinois.
Absolutely.
You know, there are 30 miles of road
Yeah.
in Illinois
Yeah, it is.
that will divert some of that
Okay.
traffic around.
Okay.
And the bridge
Okay.
from the project
Right,
managers and,
right,
and different
right.
people who are
Absolutely,
interested in that
absolutely.
will relieve some of that as well.
Okay.
And then I put our residents' safety
Yes, absolutely.
first.
Absolutely.
And so,
Okay.
we must work on those two projects
Okay.
and getting that.
All right, we have some more things that has come up. Well, let's talk about the violence. We know that the mayor has hired police, some police, I believe 9 if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure. My concern was that, and he made it clear to me that we will have more police officers on the street, and that's what we're looking forward to. Another one of my concerns is that when the new warehouse come in, the marijuana plant comes in, we're still going to need police out there. I mean, is that the city or is that the county?
Well, depending on the location, some may be
Yeah.
county, some may be city. But here's where I am on public safety.
Okay, all
I
right.
certainly believe that our police force
Yes,
must have the tools and the resources
absolutely.
available to them to make sure that the public is safe.
Yes.
Community policing is our NOPT officers.
Yes.
That is where the rubber
Yeah.
meets the road,
Yes,
right there.
yes, yes.
And so I pledge to work as hard as I
Yeah.
possibly
Okay.
can
Mhm.
to make sure that public safety
Okay.
and the residents get public service
Okay.
as well.
Mhm.
Now, in terms of the violence that's on the
Yes,
street.
and I was gonna get to that.
Oh, okay. All right, so
All right.
this is a different
Right.
animal here.
Absolutely.
Because to me, I don't care if we had police on every corner.
Yes. Mhm.
This thing is systemic.
Yes.
And so we must deal with it at the grassroots level that it is. That's why I'm encouraging community leaders and communities to come
Right.
together.
Right.
And parents, we need everybody into this.
Well, I know I was watching a city council meeting and a young man stood up, very young man,
Yes.
and he was rendering his services and was just
Joseph,
anxious and
yes.
excited to be, a part of the process and helping. And then you have the 815
Yes,
organization, and then you have the Men of Valor.
we can get all of those groups who are meeting.
Yes.
I think I want to add
Yes.
the NAACP into
Yes,
that
yes, you're right.
as well,
Mhm.
because everybody's having their different meetings.
Yes.
And we're coming up with strategies
Okay.
or solutions and everything. What we now need to do is get it under one
Okay.
roof
Okay.
and actually do our roll up our
Okay.
sleeves and
Yes.
put the strategies up
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
figure out who's gonna handle you, Would that be
Absolutely,
happening?
absolutely, because I think you might have someone to cover all of that with all,
Absolutely.
amongst all those groups, you have enough to cover every area around.
We have enough organizations
Mhm.
that are out here doing tremendous work.
Yes, mhm,
That if we include all of them,
yes,
now we
Yes.
can develop that strategy that is going
Yes.
to make sure that our
Yes.
kids have safe
right,
passage,
right.
that
right.
our residents are able to enjoy our
Right.
certain
Okay.
I always say that it takes all of us working
Absolutely,
together.
yes.
And so I'm talking about churches,
Mhm, mhm.
businesses,
Yes. Mhm.
organizations,
Mhm.
the grassroots,
Yes.
all of
Yes.
us coming together.
And citizens.
And
Mhm,
yes,
mhm.
and the citizens coming,
Mhm.
keeping our eye on the mission,
Yes, yes,
which is to make it safe
yes,
and make sure that our kids become sustainable, our
Yes.
families become
Yes.
sustainable.
yes.
And so it does. It all.
Which we
Yay!
need. Yeah, and to my understanding, it would be somewhere between District 4 and District 5 or in District 5. So can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, the project is
Okay.
out there.
All
I've been
right.
hearing the whispers about
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
There's nothing concrete that I
Yeah.
can report to you
Okay,
right now.
absolutely, that's good.
But this has been something since I joined the Quality of Life Task
Okay,
Force
all right.
in 2005
Okay, then.
to address that issue.
Okay.
And especially now where I am the executive director of the Forest Park
Absolutely.
Community Center.
Mhm,
We see the need because we're giving, on a monthly basis, we're giving thousands of pounds of food away.
mhm. Wow.
And so we need that
Wow.
in our community.
Okay,
So
okay.
be it in District 4, or be it in District
Mhm,
5,
mhm,
you know,
mhm.
we share because
Yeah.
our districts are so close
Yeah.
and they overlap.
They kind of jigsaw in and out
Yeah.
of one another. Well,
Yes, so
speaking
I'm
of
excited.
Speaking of districts being so close, really District 4, what do District 4 cover?
Okay, District 4 from the going north
Mm-hmm.
goes to Roslyn Avenue.
Okay, all right.
Going east, it goes to Galva Road.
Okay,
It encompasses
okay.
a little bit of New Lenox right
Okay,
in there.
oh,
Okay.
wow.
From the east. From the west, it is the east side of Rainer, goes up to Rainer Avenue.
You're kidding?
Yes.
And that's where it jigsaw's in with
Mhm.
District 5
Mhm.
because isn't, oh, I don't know.
Well,
Don't get me
no,
started
yeah.
with the map. Okay.
I tell you,
Okay.
yeah, our map is out there. You know, we've
Mhm.
changed the maps a couple of
Yeah,
times.
okay.
And so going
Okay.
south,
Mhm.
now I go all the way to just about to Van Buren to Jefferson Street,
Wow.
where District 5 used to be.
Okay.
So the downtown area
Wow.
is now in District 4.
Wow.
And so.
Well, you had a new subdivision out there on Route 6 that not
Yeah,
too
New
long.
Fairfield.
Is
Oh,
that
out
the name
there,
of
yeah,
it?
New
Okay,
Fairfield.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so,
So I'm there all the way out to Galvin
wow,
Road.
you're growing.
And yeah,
You're
and
growing.
then I have a few residents that have a New Lenox.
Okay.
And so right over there on that Edge Creek subdivision over there off of Galvin Road.
Okay, good,
And
great.
so, yeah. yes,
Okay,
it is
great.
growing.
Well, you're growing, and God bless you, you're growing. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some of the accomplishments, some of the things that you've gotten done for your district since you've been in 8 months. I know it's not a long time, and I know that as I talk with Terry and I told Terry, I know that there's nothing that you can do alone.
No.
You need the whole
We
council.
need everybody,
You know.
yeah.
But tell me some of the things that that you have gotten done since you've been in there for 8 months. And
Well,
it's a
8
short
months
term.
is a short time.
Yeah, it is. It's a short time.
It's a short time.
Yeah. Mhm.
But, and as you said, you know,
Yeah.
none of this happens alone.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
so we have to work together
Absolutely.
and to make sure that we get things
Mhm,
done.
mhm.
I have the distinct opportunity to sit on the Legislative Land Use Committee.
Okay, okay.
And from that point, you know, I am an advocate for handicap.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that
Nothing-
handicap. Yeah,
nothing-
absolutely.
Nothing teased me
Yes.
more than to have somebody, an able-bodied person
Yes.
parking
Yes.
in a
Yes.
handicap zone.
Yes.
And
Okay,
so.
well, let me, see, my question to this, and I brought that up, I don't know, I asked one of the mayor candidates, I don't know which one I asked, but I know that the fees were raised on that.
Yeah.
I know that you voted to raise it. But my thought is that even if you raise the fees, how is the collections and tickets for it now? I mean, are you up on, you know?
Well, here's the deal, with the cutback in manpower,
Okay,
because we're down a little bit.
okay,
And so that monitoring process, we gotta
Okay.
get back up.
okay,
And so what we're looking into doing is using some of the auxiliary
okay.
maybe, to
Okay,
have them to police those spaces and
Okay.
make sure that we collect those fines. So
Okay.
we can, that money now can be used
absolutely.
to
Mhm.
enhance the handicap
Mhm.
accessibility.
Mhm.
And so working with different organizations,
Yes.
you know,
Mhm.
we are able to make that happen.
Okay,
Okay.
I guess because one of my concerns is that, okay, so if you raise the fee and then you're not collecting the money.
Yeah,
it-
yes,
you
no,
know,
we gotta collect the money too.
Absolutely.
Because there has to be a penalty behind it.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
And so
Mhm.
with that, you know, you
Mhm.
can, there
Yeah.
are some serious issues
Yeah.
that one will, you know, if
Yeah.
it refuses.
Right.
And I wasn't that, aware of it until my mother became there.
Okay,
And
okay,
taking care of my mother,
okay.
you know,
Mhm.
and trying to get her from
Yeah.
point to point.
Right,
I found more people just running in,
Right.
jumping out.
right, uh-huh.
And I
Mhm.
said, you know, that's a handicap. Oh,
Right.
I'll be out
Right,
before.
oh, okay, well, yeah, okay, I
And so it
imagine
was
that.
a
yeah.
totally disrespect.
Now, that doesn't go for mentally handicapped, right? Okay, but anyway, that's good. Well, Betty, let's talk, well, as I stated, let's go back into talk about a couple of things that, since you've been in the 8 months, that, I won't say that you've gotten done, but that you're working towards for your district, okay? I'll be fair and do that, okay?
For
Mhm.
my district, what I'm working on is economic development
Okay,
for one thing.
okay.
And
And speak
so-
loudly because you're speaking soft,
Okay.
okay.
Economic development.
Okay.
Is where my focus is.
Okay,
Okay.
uh-huh,
Public safety,
okay.
you know,
Mhm.
making sure we get our NOPT officers
Okay.
back,
Mhm.
and bringing them back to the level where they were pre-2010.
Okay, now for the public safe, that acronym, explain that, NOPT.
Okay.
Okay,
Neighborhood officer policing team
Okay.
is
okay.
what that is.
All right,
And
okay.
so these are the officers that you see on a daily basis
Absolutely.
in
Mhm.
your community. They're there to build relationships,
Mhm.
and they're there to be at your disposal should you need them.
And build trust.
And build trust,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And so that is where community policing starts, okay?
Mhm.
It builds that bridge
Yeah.
with the community and the police officers.
Mhm.
Another thing that I see that they're doing, I run what is called a PACT camp.
Okay.
That's PACT, that's police and children together.
Oh, cool.
And this is a project that I would love to see citywide.
Now, is that where?
It's in the Forest Park
Okay,
area.
tell us
This is-
where.
This is
Okay.
our third year of doing it,
Cool, yeah.
where the actual NOPT officers, our neighborhood policing team,
Okay.
actually run the summer camp.
Wow, good.
And so it builds a relationship with the children.
Uh-huh,
They see the
absolutely.
police from a different
Mhm,
aspect,
mhm,
right?
mhm, mhm.
It can improve them looking at it to maybe law enforcement is a career opportunity.
Absolutely. Mhm,
And so we have been blessed for the last couple of years to
Mhm.
do that
mhm,
through some grant funding.
mhm.
I think Motorola was one
Okay.
that provided some funding for us.
Okay.
But the police chief and the officers are awesome with
Yeah,
us.
okay.
And so my prayer is that we
Yes.
get more funding in
Yes.
so we can
Yes.
spread this out to the different neighborhoods.
Well, it kind of reminds me of when the police goes into the school.
Yes,
And
yes.
that has a great impact because society paints the police in one picture, but these children need to know that they don't only arrest you,
Yeah,
that,
absolutely.
that they protect you
They
as well.
protect you, they
And-
have some
and,
very needed
Right,
services and
absolutely.
benefits.
So I think it's a wonderful program, and that's right there at the Forest Park
Right in
Center.
Forest Park Center.
And when does that happen?
It
Your summer
usually
camp?
happens at my summer camp.
Okay.
Summer camp starts in the Forest Park community area.
Okay.
The second week in June,
Mhm.
and then it goes through August.
Okay.
And so what we do at that particular time is we offer programs and services for the at-risk youth in our community. And so the PAC camp usually starts in August it'll run for a week in August.
Okay.
This year, the kids had so much fun last year. They have decided, and Chief Benton doesn't know this yet.
Okay,
but we're changing his schedule.
Okay.
And so we want to put PAC camp to the beginning
All right.
of the summer for the young people.
Okay, great.
And so that's gonna be an amazing opportunity.
Okay, and what else do you have up there for the citizens in
In Forest
District 4? Yeah, in your area. You have a lot of things going on up
Yes,
there.
yes. We the one thing that I can say, we have some strong neighborhood councils.
Okay, all right.
In the Parkwood area,
Okay.
the Forest Park Neighborhood Council
Okay.
is strong.
Mhm.
We have the Collins Street,
Okay.
that's in our area.
Okay, right.
And also we have the St. John's and Cunningham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Cunningham
Okay.
Neighborhood
Yeah.
Council.
No kidding.
Neighborhood councils are key
Okay.
because that is where the residents actively
Okay.
engage.
Okay.
They meet once a month. And then they take the issues from the residents and then they bring it to a larger leadership
Okay.
table.
All right.
So it provides us with great input as to
Absolutely.
what's going on
Absolutely.
in the district. And so they are key.
Okay.
I can go back to where we started the Quality of Life Task Force, and that
I
was
remember
one
that.
of the,
Yes.
the things that we brought to the table. How do we get the community engaged?
Absolutely.
Okay. The other thing that's going on in the district is that we are providing some after-school program, after-school homework help.
Okay.
This is to make sure that we increase the homework completion rate
Okay.
and that we decrease the dropouts.
So look, do you have tutors up there to
Yes,
help them?
we're
And
always looking for volunteers, community.
And I know you have computers up
Yes,
there.
yes, we got
And
great,
is Karen still teaching?
Karen has moved on to another
Okay.
job,
Okay.
and so here's a new piece for us,
Okay.
and you'll be the first one to hear this.
Oh, great. Well, be informed.
Absolutely, being informed.
Yeah.
We have just been notified that we are going to establish a relationship and a partnership with District 204 High School. Superintendent Cheryl McCarthy,
Okay.
and then with the Will County State's Attorney Office.
No kidding.
State's Attorney James Glasgow
Okay.
has helped us in this program. So what they're going to be doing is enhancing our after-school
Wow.
homework help.
Oh, that's great.
They're going to provide some tutors for us.
Okay.
They're going to provide those resources that we
Okay.
need. State's Attorney Glasgow is doing, he gets so
Oh,
excited
yeah.
about this.
Right. Okay.
And so he has a new computer instructor for us as well.
No kidding.
And so we are looking forward to the collaboration. It is so key that our schools see the value
Absolutely.
into this, and we are so blessed to have Cheryl McCarthy
Okay.
as superintendent of District
Of District
204.
204? Okay.
Yes.
Cheryl McCarthy.
The lady is amazing
Okay.
in the way she pulls things together and get us all to
Great.
collaborate for the benefit of the children.
Okay.
It's just so, it's amazing.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Well, Betty,
so-
you are running for District 4.
Yes,
This is your actual run.
my first time.
Your first
For
time. The
elected
campaign is on and the sprint is on. Well, tell us, what do you look forward to in the up and coming years, should you obtain that seat?
Here's the first thing I want to talk about is what I feel that the residents of District 4 needs as a representative.
Okay, go right ahead.
And what I feel that the districts, that the residents in District 4 need is a leader, a proven leader.
Okay.
Okay. One with integrity
Okay.
and ethics, fiscal responsibility.
Okay.
Because we're gonna need that
Absolutely.
leadership.
Absolutely.
You need someone who's a visionary.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot in District 4, we are poised to be that phoenix that raises up out of the ashes, right? And so we want to be able to bring all of that to the table. You need someone who can listen as well and be able to articulate back to the table of power where District 4 is headed and what the residents need. So that's the first thing, is to be a good listener. And the night I took that seat under the appointment, I always said that that was the people's seat. And it will remain the people's seat.
Thanks for everybody for coming out today to listen to each of us give a little bit of background on why we're running and then share some ideas about what we have for the future of the city of Joliet. My name is Terry Cottrell. I'm a third-generation citizen of Joliet. I'm from this neighborhood, 2nd Avenue and Union Street. Grandmother's church is on the other side of the block here. So I feel pretty comfortable in this area. I'm running for District 1 City Council, which is about as far west as you can get from here in Plainfield Township. And my original idea to run for City Council came from my experiences on the Plainfield Library Board. I was appointed to the board and then elected in 2011. Then I moved into the incorporated district of Joliet and decided that I wanted to serve my community more at a higher level, and that meant City Council. And being from this town and being originally educated, born and raised here, I have a particular passion for Joliet. And I like where I live, and I'm concerned about some of the issues in my district. So I tried to talk to people and garner support. And it took about a year and a half, and eventually I was thankful. I was gracious enough people were gracious enough to me to allow me to get my ideas out there and spread my voice. So that's what I think I am. I think I'm a new voice for the district, and I'm a new choice. And I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. What some of my issues are for the district include, we have some empty retail spaces in the district that were heavily utilized by the citizens that I feel need to be worked on by somebody sitting at the council. We've got some underdevelopment, which you'll hear at some point in any forum, where we're going to get new revenues for the city. Well, one of those places we're going to get new revenues is from business development. And there's, in my opinion, a great opportunity by the mall and on 59 and Theodore Street to add new businesses, add new office complexes like they've done in Westbrook and some surrounding communities to bring in more revenue for the city from alternative means. We need to, in my opinion, look outside our town and network with people from other areas, bring those ideas back to Joliet so that eventually they are looking at us saying, hey, we're doing this thing in Joliet that we want to do. But for right now, we want to get out, at least my team does, wants to get out, meet with people and bring new ideas to the city. So I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me today.
Good afternoon, my name is Serena Medaski. I'm with Julia Alexander with Being Informed. I'm the guest host today. And I'm going to be interviewing Mr. James Foster for District 4 Councilman.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Please tell me a little bit more about yourself or residents of District 4.
Yes. My name is James Foster. I am a lifelong resident of the Forest Park area. Actually, a second generation. My parents moved here in 1964, and I've lived here ever since. District 4 is the only area that I've lived in. I was educated in Joliet Catholic, where I was a graduate in 1988, the Cathedral of St. Raymond's back in 1984. And my parents were a carpenter. My father was a carpenter. My mother was a school teacher for 45 years in Joliet Public Schools. So having those type of parents, hard work and education was very, very important in our household. Just a little bit more about myself. I am a union electrical contractor. I've been in the union now for 8 years and really started out in the electrical union at the age of 18. So I have 25 years in the electrical industry. I also am a real estate stakeholder here in the Forest Park area. We own rental properties, and also I was vice president of a daycare facility in the Parkwood area for 12 years. That really gave kids a quality education and a good head start. It really makes me feel good when I see the kids nowadays and they're productive citizens in today's society, and some of them actually in college. So that's a little bit more about myself, and one of the reasons why I really decided to run for District 4 City Council was because having lived in this area my entire life, I was really fed up and tired with the lack of representation our district received and the lack of funds that get allocated to our district, the crime that's high, the joblessness rate that is higher than any other parts of the city. And you know, just recently we've had a major problem with our infrastructure. We've had water main breaks in our area where we do not have water for, in some cases, 8 hours at a time. So, you know, I was really getting fed up with those things, and given my background and my history, I looked at it, I said, you know, being a council member is similar to owning your own business. And in my business, it's been very successful. I mean, it has a few bumps and roads, just like any other business has in this day and age, but we've done pretty good for ourselves. And a lot of the things that carry over into the councilman's position are things that I've already had positive successes with in my business. For instance, managing budgets, financing, maintaining daily tasks, bidding jobs and estimating jobs. And also the real important thing is to always keep an eye out for unforeseen costs and unforeseen conditions, because in a lot of those situations, those are really what drives the cost of construction and things up. And some of those things that we have now, even in the city of Joliet, for example, are like the transportation center. Currently, it's $2.3 million over budget. Currently, we also have a sewage water treatment plant over in McKinley Park area that is over budget. So there are a lot of strong points that I have in the construction industry that I foresee things and really have a long-term eye out for things like that. And I think that would be an asset to the city council. I'd be the only one down there with 25 years in construction experience.
What makes you capable to be our next councilman for District 4?
I think something that I bring to the table is a very unique business background. I'm the only candidate that actually owns his own business. Like I stated before, we are an electrical contracting firm, a union electrical contracting firm here in the city of Joliet. I have vast experience in managing people, managing finances, creating budgets, and actually formulating a plan for something where there's nothing there. Because in construction, you have to deal with a blueprint. And I think that's one reason why our district hasn't moved any forward, because everybody can see the long-term picture, but they don't know how to get there. And that's where the blueprint comes into play. You know, so that's something that I bring to the table that is very unique. The fact that we deal with things that are never seen, and then we, so to speak, birth them into existence. So all of the different things that's going on in my district, I already see what the problems are, and I have a plan to get us there. So I have like a little roadmap, from housing to education to crime to the street improvements, everything that's plagued our city and district for a number of years. I think that I'm the man to solve the problem.
How do you propose that you bring in more jobs for District 4?
Well, I think first of all that someone needs to go out and aggressively pursue commercial development in our district. Our district is lacking in commercial development. It's lacking in the crime. And when you talk about bringing businesses in, no one is really going to invest in an area that is 50% higher crime rate than other areas. So first of all, we need to get under the crime. But I know that's not the questions you asked me, but they're kind of intertwined together.
Yes.
But basically, if the crime was able to be sustainable and at a normal rate, I believe that targeting a grocery store on this side of town, matter of fact, I used to actually work at the Jewel and Oscar on Jackson Street back in the 80s, and it was a viable part of this community. So I definitely agree that we need a grocery store. We have a lot of vacant land here. There's plenty of opportunities to bring in economic development. We have, down at the end of Woodruff Road, we have land there that used to be the Illinois State Police shooting range. We also have more land on Collins Street, the U.S. Steel plant. So there's a number of large parcels that can house a full-service grocery store. And so something else along the lines of the economic development in businesses, being a business owner, I'm a firm believer that we need to have the residents have programs and things so they can have the knowledge of starting their own business, you know. So I'm a firm believer not in just promoting big box businesses, but also the mom and pop businesses. You know, most mom and pop businesses are the businesses that sustain a community like ours.
What would you like to see for our youth in the summer? What type of programs would you like to introduce for our youth in the summertime?
Actually, I am involved with a group of people that currently, just this past summer, well, not me, but I kind of oversaw this situation, the establishment. But what they did is they purchased a home for $35,000 here in the city of Joliet, and we targeted 3 teens. And having been in the trades, I have friends who are in the trades who also donate their time. And what they did is we took these 3 teens and we taught them plumbing, heating, and electrical skills. We basically rehabbed an entire house, gutted it, and brought it back. And I'm glad to say that that house is now occupied by a resident of the city of Joliet. And, you know, before it was over with, the young teens began to question me. They said, Mr. Foster, how much did your team purchase this house? And I said, well, you know, the team purchased the house for about $35,000. And, you know, the light bulb clicked. They said, wow, we can do this. So, you know, you're looking at 3 teens. I know it wasn't the entire teen population, but it in fact did give them money to go to college in the summertime. It kept them off the streets and a sense of value, being able to contribute to their own community. And at the same time, it was able to give them some hands-on, teach them some hands-on skills insofar as learning a trade. You know, when I was 18 and I started out, everyone said, you know, you need to get you a trade, you need to get your trade. And I was like, a trade? What's a trade? You know, I didn't know what a trade was. But as I got myself involved in it, I started realizing, wow, I can really do this. I can work with my hands. And it's not everyone that goes to college, you know. It's not everyone that is a laborer. Everybody's not going to be a doctor. You know, we have to try to identify what strong points the youth have and introduce that to them, because right now, no one is really doing that. So I was very, very proud of the students that we had this summer and what we were able to teach them, and the fact that they really, really gravitated to it, you know, and it really opened their eyes up that they could really do anything that they want to.
You have great ideas for District 4. I'd also like, since I am a head daycare teacher, I'd like to hear what are your plans for the education for District 4? Do you have any ideas for educating District 4?
Big parts for education. I can really speak to that because I know my mom was a retired school teacher for 45 years in the district here, and she still stays here in the Forest Park area. It's never a dull moment in our house. We always had pens, papers, and books, and I try to dodge that, but somehow that stuff just kind of sank in on me. But it's very interesting because my mom even has a lot of ideas as well. But one thing that I know that is very key, and it's been really crucial to our state budget, is early childhood education. The state now is really, really behind in its bills and paying child care providers. But for 12 years, I was vice president of a daycare center in Parkwood. And up there, we had early childhood kids. And I learned the very importance of well-balanced meals, getting a nap in the middle of the day. And we were state certified, you know. So it really, the state came in, we had to have teachers and directors, and my mom worked there and everything, and took them outside to the playground and played. And that's where you got to get them at, because my mom always says that there's a certain segment of a child's life, the early years, when they're just like a sponge, where they can just, you can teach them anything and they can remember it forever. So I think that we got to start out with the youth, and then get them on the right track with the early childhood. But then we can't forget about those that are in high school. I mean, right now our high school has a 65% graduation rate in our public schools. And I was sitting down the other day with Ardale Evans, having a discussion with him, and he was telling me about the different programs and things that are available to him. But being a union contractor and affiliated with the multiple trades here in Joliet, I would like to see the trade unions go into the schools, you know, and grab them there. Don't wait for them to get out of high school. You know, when there's a decision you have to make in your life, you're going to be 18 and you're going to go to college or you're going to go to work, and it's a scary sense, because, you know, you're being forced to grow up so quick, you know. So I think that if we could get into the schools and show them, have more technical things in school. You know, I know a lot of trade schools have an apprenticeship program, but if we could somehow, like I'm saying, introduce them into the trades before they actually get out of high school, so that they can kind of pick and choose what they want to do. Because, like I say, it's a lot of people that's not going to go to college, and you know, I'd like to see the residents of Joliet and the younger residents of Joliet, when they graduate from high school, you know, let them be the ones that get the jobs here in the local areas and continue to live in Joliet and to make Joliet, to contribute to the Joliet's economy. I can actually remember some years ago when Joliet Central used to have hands-on technology classes like the auto shop they used to have, or the wood shop. And, you know, I would like to see those brought back into the schools so that the children would have some sense of direction before they graduate. I know currently, you know, something that's going on down at Joliet Central, they're doing this huge addition. You know, they're adding more rooms and classrooms and things for the kids. And I'd like to see maybe those kids put on a hard hat one day and go out there and tour active construction sites. You know, that would really, really open up their mind to things, you know. There's been quite a few water main breaks here, especially in the Forest Park area. Many residents often call me and say, Mr. Foster, you know, our water's off and it's bubbling up in the street. So I alert them to call Jim Trisma down at the water department. And recently he has come out to a few of our neighborhood meetings and really explained to us that the longevity of the pipes that are underground that service that, they need to be replaced. And one concern I have is that in the 2015 budget that was just recently passed, we received $40 million as a city overall to do street repairs and water main breaks. We received that $40 million through the motor fuel tax and also our water bills that we pay as a resident of the city. And I was really, really disturbed that District 4 was only really receiving about 2% of that $40 million, which really comes out to be $800,000. And to me, that was really a slap in the face to a community that doesn't have streetlights, doesn't have sidewalks, has high crime, and has all these water main breaks going on. So that's one real issue that I think moving forward, the budget really needs to be taken a harder look at and some different funding allocated to our area.
Okay, for our residents in District 4, who can they call about?
Well, as being their city council, I am a voice for the people. So anytime the residents would have any concern, whether it would be crime, water main breaks, snow removal, I'd be the point person. They're more than welcome to go to the city, but I would appreciate if everything would go through me so the process for following up on their needs is being addressed. So I would appreciate being their council member if they would call me, and I would have a personal line for them and make myself
scoreboard. That's been one of our hot topics in the newspaper lately.
It has. We've actually been down there. I have personally in front of council about 2 times over the past couple sessions because of the scoreboard. We allocated $150,000 for the scoreboard in the 2015 budget, and it's been brought to our attention after the city received numerous bids that the scoreboard is $360,000. So there is quite a bit of difference there that needs to be made up. So the city has decided that they're going to take the money out of the reserve. But one of the questions I often have is, well, how did we get ourselves into this position? You know, there's one thing to deal with a problem, but there's another thing to have a problem that you have to deal with in the 11th hour. And that's once again where my construction-related experience can be very, very beneficial to the city. You know, a lot of times something that really, really goes over people's heads is the fact of what is maintenance on things, because, you know, I understand that it's the taxpayers that purchase the scoreboard. So one of the questions I pose to the city council is that the scoreboard that they're removing, what happens to that? Does the other contractor just ride off into the sunset with that? Because something that needs to be kept in mind is those parts are authentic, and other people still have that type of scoreboard. Those are refurbished parts that we should be getting some type of compensation for as taxpayers. Something else that I brought up is that the scoreboard, the new scoreboard that they have approved to provide to the stadium, because that's our contractual agreement, I questioned them on the maintenance of the new scoreboard. Even though that is going to still be maintained by the owners of by the rental of the stadium, it still relies on the city to be sure that they're in fact doing what they need to do to maintain it. Because at the end of the day, if they move out and the scoreboard doesn't work, we surely don't want to be paying $360 some odd thousand for a scoreboard that hasn't been properly maintained. And then at the end of the rental agreement, they're gone and we're stuck with a non-working scoreboard. So that's why I say that my construction-related experience and the maintenance thing. So I requested a maintenance log be kept by the city of Joliet, given to us from the renters, so that we can in fact make sure they're following the proper steps to make sure that the scoreboard is maintained properly.
Also, let's talk about the Rialto Tourism. Do you have any ideas for the Rialto? Give us your ideas for District 4 for the Rialto. What are your ideas?
Well, I've been reading the newspaper, and it's very troubling that the city gives the Rialto approximately like $600,000 a year, keeping in mind all of the other things in the city of Joliet that need attention. And as a voice for the residents, I think that the $600,000 needs to be taken a stronger look at. And I say that because everyone says that we shouldn't be giving the Rialto the $600,000 every year. And the city seems to think that the Rialto generates income for business and things downtown. But they only have about 40 shows a year. So I think their schedule needs to be a little bit more aggressive. I mean, it's just like me and you. I mean, if our money is coming up and we don't have what we need, we go out and try to make ends meet. So I don't think that the approach that the Rialto is having with having the minimal shows, I think they need to maximize their dates. And something else that I think that needs to happen is I think that the city needs to do a study. Before we give $600,000 to them consecutively, I think there needs to be some type of study done as to how much more of the businesses actually receive positive income during the time that the Rialto has the shows. We have to make some type of case for the businesses downtown that in fact when the show is taking place, more revenue is being generated because of that. So maybe if we take an off time on a Friday when there's no Rialto show, see what the business profits are downtown Joliet, and then with the Rialto show, if it's up. If the businesses downtown are not making $600,000 a year and then some, then why are we continuing to invest in something that's not yielding us a positive return as a city?
What is your take on Evergreen Terrace?
Very interesting topic, very interesting topic. I'm pretty familiar with that being in my district. I'm also familiar with that because of the lack of affordable housing in Joliet. Being a landlord in Joliet, I've examined and looking at the Section 8 list and know that there are residents on there that don't have a house. And that the list is quite long because there is a lack of housing here in Joliet. I'm also familiar that there's about 365 people that in a short time here a decision is going to come down the pipeline either to relocate them in other parts of cities or towns, or possibly that they won't have any place to stay at all. So that's a real touchy subject. I also know that we are $7.5 million into legal fees, that it's going to be another $15 million to purchase it. And, you know, we spent, that would have put us totaling at about $22 million, and we haven't even bringing in any bulldozer or any type of equipment or any type of material or labor insofar as rehabilitating the place. So, you know, if we just take that $22 million big number, that big ticket item, and we ask ourselves, how many houses could we build for $22 million? Just recently here, being from the Forest Park area, they tore down the projects back there, and they built Liberty Meadows. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing that they did back there. I know for a fact, though, that 0 of the residents that were living in the projects could afford the homes. So I understand now that they're down in Springfield and Decatur, and I'm not for displacing families. I am for making sure that everyone has a safe and affordable place to live, and I think they can do it right here in Joliet. I think the city of Joliet needs to target the rehab of homes, of existing homes that are foreclosed and are just sitting, and build on vacant lots. We have lots right down here now that could be built on. And I'm going to take you back to 1992, and I was involved in a program with the city of Joliet. I was an electrician working for the city of Joliet, my company, where we built homes in Joliet and my company wired them. And those houses are here in the Forest Park area, along Arthur Avenue. There's some on Fairview Avenue. And that is the affordable type housing that I think that we need to bring in here now to relieve ourselves of the Evergreen Terrace situation. You know, there's a lot of homes that can be built with $22 million. And keep in mind that that $22 million is just a start. So the price is even going to go up higher than that when we hire contractors and things. So why not ourselves start building? You know, this is a perfect instance again of another one of these situations when we take off to run a race, but we don't have anything waiting for us at the finish line, nor do we have anything waiting. We don't even know where the finish line is at. And see, they're doing this with your money, with my money, and with the taxpayers' money. And so that's why I believe that I can help them develop a long-term plan and create different creative solutions before we even leave the start. I would like for everyone to come out and vote for James Foster for Joliet City Council District 4. And keep in mind when you're voting that you'll be selecting a candidate that is going to represent you and be a voice for the people. Some of the issues that I will strongly and aggressively approach are going to be the 60% higher crime in our district. I will actively pursue a stronger education for our youth so that the graduation rate in our high schools gets up higher than the 65% it is now. But not leaving the younger children behind, I will focus on strong early childhood education. I'll focus on job creation. And I will strongly focus that the residents of Joliet are recipients of the work that is led in Joliet on public contracts. I will also work towards affordable housing to make sure that residents have an affordable, nice house to stay in. And lastly but not least, I want to make sure that we have safe communities for us to raise our children in and have a family. Thank you very much, and remember to vote James Foster on April the 7th. Make it a change that you can count.
Okay.
Thank you.
Who are some of your main supporters in your campaign?
Wow. I think the first ones that come to mind are the residents of the city of Joliet, particularly District 4. I know we have over 100 big signs out and over 200 smaller signs, so there's 300 individual residents who are my biggest supporters. I think that, you know, a lot of times we get donations and things for people, but at the end of the day, it's the person that reaches out to you on Facebook, you know, the person that calls you, the person that knocks on your door, the person who you send a flyer to and they call the phone number and want to know a little bit more who you are. I think those are the people that are at the top of my list, because money, I don't want to put money in my business donors ahead of the people. You know, so I think the people of the district are my #1 supporters, first of all. But then I'm very thankful for the donors that have given to my campaign, from Berlinski Scrap to Speedway Auto Parts, from Nelson Robles at Robles Plaza, you know, to the Supermercado stores, to the El Perdido Escondido restaurants, you know. So I have a very, very strong following. And I think one thing that makes me unique from other candidates is the fact that I'm diverse. I've educated in Catholic schools, but yet I lived in the Forest Park area, and then we wired numerous buildings in the Collins Street corridor. So it gives me a very good rounded backing from all different nationalities of people, and that's what this district needs, because it's a diverse district. You know, I'm not one that gets caught up in color. I have all friends of all races and all nationalities, and we have a good, respectful relationship. But I think that moving forward, that we need to maintain that in our district. I think that the birth of the businesses in the Hispanic area is just as important as the birth of the businesses on the Ruby Street area. So all of those businesses have given to me. Mama's Kitchen, we've had fundraisers there. We've got flyers and signs there. Sunshine Food Mart on Ruby Street, we've got flyers and signs there, you know. And Hey Hot Dog, which used to be down here next to McDonald's, you know. The other weekend I was at the Lexington House up in Hickory Hills, with the Hispanic group that owns the rodeo at Briggs and Roslyn. It was beautiful. It was not to venture off the subject, but it was beautiful. It was a gathering, a suit and tie affair of 800 people. And I don't really know, I can't remember what the name of it was, but it's basically, they're all part of like a horse club. They all have horses. And what they did there, and I got home and I looked at it, I was like, wow, let me learn a little bit more about this. And I saw that they teach their kids respect and not to wear earrings and not to be in gangs. And that really, really touched me. And what really made me look into it is because when I started looking around the room, there were so many young people there. And so I think that type of atmosphere needs to be contagious for everyone because it's really conducive for learning. So they are someone that has given to me. So I'm really, really thankful for them. And when elected, I'm going to continue to do my best for everyone.
My name is Larry Hogg. I'm the District 1 councilman. Have been for 4 years. If you told me 5 years ago that I'd be in office or running for office today, I would have told you you were insane. But I saw the problems we had, problems that became evident after 30 years that were actually outed because of the great collapse, as we refer to it. And so what I did is I talked to my campaign manager at my campaign headquarters. And then we took some money off the campaign fund. Let me be clear on that. In 2010, I sat down with my wife at the kitchen table, and we took $1,500 out of our savings account that we probably should have spent elsewhere. But we just felt it was that drastic. And as a member, I have to keep an eye on District 1 as a District 1 council member. But remember, I have two eyes. One is always cast on District 1, and the other one's cast on the city as a whole. So yes, we have to take care of District 1, and then we have to bring the city together and take care of the city as a whole. We're all going to sink or swim, all 5 districts as one. The reason I ran, I've explained, is that there were problems that needed to be fixed. My original campaign slogan was, Joliet's broke, we got a city to fix. We've come a long way, but in 4 years, we don't solve 30 problems that have festered for 30 years, financial and otherwise. And when they're compounded by the great collapse of the economy, it was more difficult, but we've come a long way. We've improved streets in District 1 as an example. The year before I came in, they did 5 street resurfacing, we now average 15 a year. I made sure that we've increased policing. I pushed hard when there was an original proposal this year for 1 additional police officer citywide. I pushed for 12, I got 9. 3 of them are in District 1, District 3. So with that said, there's a lot moving forward that we need to do, what we need to do as a community amongst the council members. And yes, some of the biggest tax dollars comes from the mall. I know Kate, the general manager, and I'll leave you with this thought, the best. I talk to her almost on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, and I said, what else can we do to help you with your development? And she said, frankly, Larry, I would prefer government stays out of the way. We'll come to you when we need help. And that means usually incentives. They do a great job. They have their own economic development director, and they're doing a great job on the land that they own. So with that said, I'm going to actually try to come in for the first time in my life under the 32nd warning. Again, thank everybody for giving me the opportunity to speak to them. And I look forward to answering any questions you have today. And I want to remind you, this is the best part of being in government, is being with my fellow residents. Thank you.
My name is Serena McGaskey. I am a special guest of Julie Alexander for Be Informed. I am here this morning with Angel Guzman, which is running for District 4 councilman. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show. My name is Angel Guzman, and I'm a candidate for District 4 City Council Joliet.
What would you like to tell me about where you live and your family live? Can you tell us more about our residents, more about that?
Of course. I was born and raised in the city of Joliet. I currently reside on the east side, and I'm a lifelong resident. Some ideas that I have that are different are, I have a background in marketing. I've been doing marketing work for 7 years. And we're the 4th largest city in the state of Illinois, the largest city in Will County. What I'd like to do is, I'd like to market our city to job creators large and small and try to attract more businesses.
Tell our residents, what are your ideas for District 4?
Of course, some of my specific ideas are revamping Collins Street. Now, Collins Street, there's a lot of empty patches of land. So I'd like to try and have more jobs on Collins Street. I actually think West 26th Street in Chicago, Illinois can be a model for Collins Street. And one of the things I'd like to do with Collins Street is I would like to attract different Hispanic restaurants to open up on Collins Street. That way, when our residents want Hispanic food that isn't Mexican, they don't have to go to the city of Chicago. I feel we can compete right here if we can try to attract a Puerto Rican restaurant and a Cuban restaurant to help show the diversity of all our different ethnicities of Latino.
There are, you were speaking of the different land, we have the
Yes.
prison. Would you like to speak more about that for District 4? What are
Of
your
course.
ideas?
Also, the prison is sadly deteriorating and neglected. Now, if the money is there, whether a private investor or if we can get state grants or federal grants, I would love to turn the Collins Street Prison into a museum. A lot of people go into the parking lot and they read about the historical significance of the prison, but they're not able to go inside and get the full experience. I would love for them to come inside with that full experience, pay a small fee to come inside, learn about our prison, leave away with a couple souvenirs, and on the weekends make it available for private rental. So those are some of my ideas I have specifically for Collins Street. Also, the Upper Bluff neighborhood in my area of District 4. I see no reason why we can't have walking tours of Upper Bluff to let our residents know the rich history of Upper Bluff. Also, I have an idea for a water taxi downtown Joliet through the Des Plaines River. Now, I went ahead and contacted Wendella Boats in the city of Chicago, and they said they would be interested in operating a water taxi. My idea is, let's have a water taxi with stops from downtown Joliet all the way to Ottawa, Illinois. I think it would be a great way for us to bring in more tourism and more revenue into our city.
Those are great ideas for District 4. My brother actually was the most recent historian for Joliet.
Oh, really?
And he's Seth McGoskey, he is deceased, but he did walking tours and bike tours of Joliet. And he would, I really like the idea that you would like to utilize our prison. Make,
Of course.
give back to District 4, give some revenue back to our citizens of District 4. Are there any other ideas you'd like to talk to? Also, another hot topic, the Rialto. Do you have any ideas for tourism for the Rialto?
Of course. Now, the Rialto Square Theater is one of the most beautiful theaters, not only in the Chicago area, but in the whole country. Now, I don't know why the city of Joliet has to give the Rialto Square Theater almost $1 million every year. The Rialto Square Theater is not being managed accordingly. They're only putting on like 40 shows a year, and I want to take a look at the Paramount Theater in Aurora, Illinois. That theater puts on triple the amount of shows that the Rialto Square Theater does, and they're successful without getting any government assistance. So I feel we need to take a look at what they're doing in Aurora and emulate it here at the Rialto Square Theater. And also, a lot of tourists that end up going to the city of Chicago when they're traveling up I-55, we need to give them a reason to get off I-55 and stop in Joliet first. And one thing I'd like to do is completely help bring more attractions to downtown Joliet and make it a more family-friendly place.
Talk a little bit about the scoreboard, the situation in the paper, that was another hot topic, the scoreboard for the baseball park.
Yes, the scoreboard now, the city of Joliet, they own the Joliet Slammers, and they were contractually obligated to fix the scoreboard when the scoreboard needed repair. Now, the city ended up spending close to $400,000 to fix the scoreboard. My idea was, I reached out to the Chicago Blackhawks not long ago, and I asked them if they'd be interested in using our stadium for events during the winter. So my idea is, for the scoreboard, naming rights are very popular. We have many baseball stadiums and sports venues that have sold their naming rights. So my thing is, since it is called Silver Cross Field, Silver Cross should pay to fix their scoreboard since they do have the naming rights, or we need to sell the naming rights to a company that's willing to pay for the scoreboard. And that would have been a way for us to save that money and better use it on fixing our infrastructure.
Very good ideas for District 4. Also, I'd like to, they brought this up several times. Do you have any ideas for summer programs and job opportunities for our youth in the summer?
Of course. I have ideas not only for our youth, but for all our citizens. Now, Woodruff Road was recently closed, and I feel we really need to reopen it. Woodruff Road is the entry up into the hill, and for it to be closed, it's a shame. And along those railroad tracks, there's a lot of empty land that I feel we're not putting to good use. Now, I've spoken to some residents of the hill, and they told me their basic needs are not met. They don't have a grocery store, they don't have a laundromat, they don't have access to health care. So some things I'd like to do, I'd like to reach out to a grocery store to try to get health care and try to attract a laundromat and have them build along Woodruff Road so these residents do have access to these amenities that they need and all the construction jobs and all the jobs, for our people in need, young and old. Well, the things I would like to do is our infrastructure is in dire need of rebuilding. There are many of our streets, sidewalks, and alleys that need to be fixed. There is a block stretch on Quaker Avenue that's a dirt road, and that just shouldn't be. We're the fourth largest city in the state, the largest in Will County, and there's a section of Joliet that's a dirt road. So one of my priorities is fixing up our streets, sidewalks, and alleys. Some of our neighborhoods don't even have sidewalks. We need to make Joliet a pedestrian-friendly city for our young, our elderly, our disabled. Also, many of our streets are not well lit. Some of our residents do not feel comfortable walking at night, so I would like to make sure that our streets are well lit. I also have an idea to assist our police department. Our police department is currently understaffed. I do want to thank the city council on the recent efforts to hire more police officers, but we'll still be under pre-recession levels. So I would like to see our police department fully staffed, but I have one idea that will really help them in some of our crime-plagued neighborhoods. I'm strongly in favor of installing police surveillance videos. And I have an idea on how we can do that without raising taxes. My ideas on these proposed corners where we would install a police surveillance video, have all the homeowners that would be affected within a block or two radius of this proposed police surveillance video, have them vote on this. If a majority votes yes, they can all share the cost and maintenance of these police surveillance cameras to make our neighborhoods safer. Also, I have a background in marketing, and with my background in marketing, I want to put that to good use. And I want to reach out to job creators, large and small, and let them know why Joliet works for them. We have access off I-55, off I-80, we have many state routes, we have Metra and Amtrak, largest city in Will County, our close proximity to Chicago. We have a hard-working, diverse workforce. I see no reason why you wouldn't want to come to Joliet. So the things I would like to do, I would like to use my background in marketing to go after job creators, try to create more jobs in our district. I want safer street. I want more police to make our community safer. I want to fix our infrastructure, and I do have some tourism ideas to bring more people into our city, so we can have more revenue. I also think that around our baseball stadium, we could maybe make it a sports district, try to get some bars and restaurants, and we could maybe open up our city to some street festivals, and maybe we can have a citywide marathon.
These are all great ideas. When you were talking about the surveillance within the neighborhoods,
Yes.
is this trying to keep the taxes down
Yes.
while doing the surveillance?
Yes. Taxes, it's very important we keep our taxes low and do not raise taxes. So this is a good idea that I have that'll put the vote up to the people. If this neighborhood would like a police surveillance camera to make them feel more at ease in some more crime-plagued areas, they can directly have a say in this. And that community, that block, they can share the cost and maintenance of that camera, and it's a way where we won't need to raise taxes citywide. Once again, my name is Angel Guzman. I was born and raised in the city of Joliet. I'm running for City Council District 4, and one of the things I really like to do is I want to make our city great. We're the 4th largest city in Illinois, the largest city in Will County, and I feel we can do better, and our citizens deserve better. Our young deserve better, our elderly deserve better, our disabled deserve better. There's no reason why our neighborhoods should be without a sidewalk. There's no reason why certain sections of our city have dirt roads. There's no reason that our residents should have difficulty seeking work in their neighborhoods. And with what we already have here as far as our awesome attractions, there's no reason we can't try and have more attractions to give our residents some more entertainment options. So those are some things I would like to accomplish if I'm fortunate enough to be elected on April 7th, and I'm humbly asking for your vote.
Thank you, Angel Guzman, for
Thank you,
having our
Serena.
interview with Being Informed with Miss Julie Alexander. I am a special guest host, Serena Rogaski, and have a great day.
My name is Pat Mugger, as mentioned. I'm a local person, born and raised here in Joliet, born and raised in District 2. I'm an independent insurance broker, graduated from Joliet Catholic High School and the University of Notre Dame. I've been in the insurance industry since that time, a little over 43 years. I understand teamwork by being on numerous boards in a head position. I understand working with boards can be unique. We don't want everyone to be of the same mindset, but we would like to have some unity at the end that we can move forward on a positive move for the city of Joliet. I've not asked for any city union support. I didn't feel that would be right, elected, and voting on contracts for the city unions. I have been endorsed by the Will County Central Trades and the Will County Building Trades, Will Grundy County Building Trades, which are not part of the city unions. I look to run for District 2 because it's an open seat. I thought about politics a lot. I didn't think business-wise afforded me the time that I have to give up from my business to do this. Now at 66, I have the time and the energy to do that. I understand there are challenges. I also understand from civics class that we're a city manager form of government. I'm not quite sure that we've let our manager manage the city with the staff that has moved up through the ranks to be in a head position. I think the staff we have is very, very good. I think everyone is paid well, I believe, or they wouldn't still be here. And they've shown that they can handle the individuals under them. And I think as a team approach, we need to get together with the city council, with Jim Haack, and specific managers of the area, whether it's streets and sanitation, or fire, or police, to work on issues. I ask you for your vote on April 7th. Thank you.
With me, the candidate for District 5, and also sitting councilman, Mr. Terry Morris. We're going to talk about Terry and his run, what prompted him to run, the things that he's done for District 5 since he's been in office, and what he looks forward to doing in his next term in office. Hi, Terry. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, Julia. How you doing?
Okay. What made you run for councilman in the first place?
Well, over 4 years ago, Pastor Doris, who was the council person at that time, he informed me that he was going to resign from the council and asked me if I would be interested in seeking, the council position.
So at that point, you weren't even thinking about running for it?
Well, it actually maybe you can go back a little further than that. But that was one of the more serious meetings that he and I had. Prior to that, the 4 years prior to that, he had considered resigning, but he chose to run again for the seat office again. So it had been probably 4 years prior to that, so not 8 years now.
Okay, all right. So in other words, you're saying somewhere in the back of your mind, but Pastor Doris was still in seat at that time, or just coming out. Okay, and so since, how do you like it?
It's very rewarding. You get to help a lot of the residents of your district. to get some services from that the city provides, and meet a lot of wonderful people. So it's been very rewarding.
Okay, and let me ask you this: what were your platform when you ran? What did you stand on?
You know, integrity. You know, being a voice for the people of the city of Joliet. Just to again open government up to be that bridge with the citizens and communication.
And you are in District 5. Tell us what District 5 covers.
District 5 at this time, well actually for maybe a little over the last year or so, our east boundaries is just a little east of Bridge Street. And then we go far west is Interstate 55 and Jefferson Street to the north. There are some areas that go a little further north of Jefferson near the Frontage Road area, and then far south is the Speedway.
Okay, are you the largest district? You have a pretty huge area to cover. But then you have all the good stuff in your area. You got the intermodal, you got all the industries.
Industrial areas, along with the residential areas.
Okay, so you said one of the reasons is to you know, collaborate with entities and help with people. What were some of your accomplishments since you've been in there?
Well, again, you know, a lot of them been on an individual basis from, you know, one homeowner or a renter or whatever the case may be with some services that the city provide, or just making maybe connections with at the county level or working with some of our state representatives for different issues. Working along with the housing authority, I like to point out that as one of the issues that we want to redevelop a housing complex here in District 5, working with them along with the residents, other housing authority property, as well as some of the stakeholders in the area.
Okay, all right, and so you are a big a part of bringing in the jobs in District 5?
Sure, yes. You know, we always like to work with companies in order if there's some incentives that the city can give, if it's going to bring into some decent employment. You know, we love to work with them in any way possible to bring, you know, more jobs.
Well, I hear we're going to get a grocery store.
Yes.
So can you elaborate
talk
on?
with the planning department. You know, a lot of information hasn't been given out at this time, so we're just kind of waiting on the city staff to work with the different entities to bring that to fruition.
Great. Well, listen, Terry, tell me what you would like to see done in the next 4 years.
Definitely looking at as many permanent jobs as possible. You know, temporary jobs are good for you know, something temporary. Right. But yeah, we're looking for good paying jobs with benefits. You know, just safe streets, you know, for our kids. You know, we work with the school district and, like I said, the other governmental agencies. You know, just to make the city better.
Absolutely. Okay, so you're speaking of safe streets, and we know that we are still somewhat short of policemen. We did hire some.
Yes.
And so, is it on the table that we hire more police to walk the streets?
Yes. We'll be looking possibly later this year or in the budget of next year to hire even more officers to get the neighborhood-oriented police program back up to its full staffing level as it was back in the early 90s. As well as some other entities to get into the schools to, you know, maybe encourage some of our young people, you know, to seek a profession in either police or fire or something, you know, just to be a positive citizen.
Let's go back to the housing. We know that Evergreen is a very hot topic at this point. And tearing it down and the residents, where they're going to go. Can you elaborate a little bit on that, about how you feel about all that?
Yeah, I believe that, you know, it should be some redevelopment of that area of Evergreen. But my main concern, and has always been my first concern, is the residents of Evergreen Terrace, that they are given the proper tools, that if they decide to relocate outside of the city of Joliet or stay here in the city, which we hope and, you know, that they do, but we need to have decent housing for them to do that. So I believe, you know, the next year or two, that's what we need to focus on. Is
so my understanding is that they will be given a voucher.
Yes.
And there is going to be a certain percentage of it that's going to be knocked down, and then those will in turn render vouchers for those. And the vouchers that they're going to render, you can either stay here within the city, or you can go anywhere that they have a voucher system. Am I not correct about that?
Right, that's
Okay.
correct.
So let me ask you at this point, are you married?
Yes.
Okay, and
Yes.
who's your lovely wife?
Deidre?
Okay.
Yes.
Deidre Creole, and you have children?
Yes, we have
Okay.
7 children, 2 grandchildren.
Okay, 7 children and 2 grandchildren.
Yes.
9 is enough. You said real good. But let's talk about your place of business. You do have a wonderful business right here in District 5.
Yes.
On Richard Street, I believe.
That's
and you
correct.
just added a new, a beautiful
Yes,
portion.
yes,
So
yes,
talk a
we
little
had
bit
an
about
addition.
that. Mhm.
Yeah, we're small business owners of the Minor Morris Funeral Home,
Okay.
which we've owned for 25 years now.
25
So,
years.
right, we've been
Wow.
residents right here in District
Mhm.
5, and we
Okay.
still live there at 112 Richard Street.
Wow.
And last year, we went into had the opportunity, I should
Okay.
say, of putting an addition on to the funeral home,
Mhm.
which has been, tedious, but it's rewarding because we want to give back to our community,
Great.
give a decent
Absolutely. Mhm.
place of business for people to come
Mhm.
at that time and to, mourn.
Well, I know that it has enhanced that area down there.
Well,
It's
thank you.
whoever did your work did a wonderful job, because it actually looks like it's been there all along. It
Yes.
doesn't look split up. They've
Well,
done a
thank you.
wonderful job.
Yes, we're very happy with it.
Mhm.
We try to use as many local
Mhm.
contractors, from
Good.
our community as
Good.
possible and work with them.
Giving back to
And-
the community.
Yeah, and that was our whole idea and focus, for that as much as we could.
Okay.
And again, it's been long, but it's been well worth it.
Well
And
worth it.
again, to give a decent facility,
Yes.
for our residents.
And you've done that, and you've done it.
Thank you.
You've enhanced Richard Street tremendously down there. I love that building. Okay, let's talk about some of your supporters for your run.
Yeah, well, we have quite a few supporters.
Okay.
Pastor Warren Doris and
Okay.
Mr. Mike Stewart has been my campaign
Okay.
managers.
Mhm.
We've gotten support from some of the city unions, the FOP,
Okay.
44,
Mhm.
Illinois Realtors Association
Okay.
has also supported us,
Strong
endorsed
supporters.
it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and just, the ground root support from the community.
From the communities. Are you a Joliet? Were you born and raised here?
No, I was not, Julie. I was
Okay.
actually born in Chicago, Illinois, on the
Okay.
south side.
Oh, south side of Chicago.
Yes.
That's where my house was, from the south side of Chicago.
All right.
Okay, and you've been in Joliet how long now?
Since 1989.
Wow.
So it's like 26 years or something. I quit
Okay.
counting.
All right, you've been acclimated. That's okay.
I feel like I have.
Absolutely. You've been around here doing
Yeah.
a lot of wonderful things. It's not easy, and as I stated, talking with other people like Margie and Pastor Brooks, nothing that you can do alone. When
That's
you make those decisions, when he makes those decisions down at the council meeting, he does need the other council people.
Sure. Right.
Everybody needs everybody, right? Because
Exactly.
so I don't want them to think that it's a single decision that you make
Right.
that
No, not at all.
affects District 5. Everyone has to make it. So could you
Exactly.
elaborate a little bit on that? Because I want the people to know that, no, you don't work alone.
Right. No, you're exactly right.
Mhm.
Actually, we have the 5 districts.
Mhm.
So each district has a council person, then you
Mhm.
have the 3 councilmen at large.
Mhm.
So in order for anything to happen, we have streets that need to be
Right.
repaired. And
Mhm.
so, we need a majority vote,
Absolutely.
for that
Mhm.
to happen,
Mhm.
as well as the mayor has a
Mhm.
vote on the council.
Absolutely.
So it's actually 9 votes,
Mhm.
and so you need 5 votes for an agenda item to pass.
Mhm.
So we work well. I work well with all the other 8
Okay.
elected officials,
Okay.
and
Mhm.
I believe, and for the last 4 years, I would say that I believe we have worked together well
Yeah.
to move the city forward.
Yes.
But
yes.
anything that happens in the city, like as you said, Judy, it takes the full support of the
Mhm.
council.
Mhm. Okay, well, one more question I do want to ask now. 4 years ago, when you all were coming in, the city was in the red, the budget and all that, so we seem to be kind of straight now. So what's the budget looking like for the 2015-16 year?
Well, it's looking good. You know, we have a reserve.
Okay.
You know, which is always good. You don't want to be operating in the red or with. And when I say we have a reserve, we have a very healthy reserve.
Okay, good.
So, you know, again, I think over the last 4 years, there's been some tough decisions made, and the citizens has been good. That some of the services were cut. We're not able to help some of the social service agencies like we had in the past. But I believe we're moving forward.
Okay,
you know.
okay. So and it's to my understanding that we have, what, 30-something, around the 37 million for the transportation center?
Yes.
We already have that. That's in the play. We have the new grocery store that's coming in.
Yes.
Hopefully a new grocery store coming in. And it was to my understanding, if I can remember correctly, I think the mayor said we have a new, another factory or something that's coming.
Yes, I know. I know we have another warehouse coming, right? And we here in District 5 as well.
All in your district?
Yes, all in District 5, close to the people so they won't have fire travel work.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's been a big a push for the council is to hire the people, you know, from District 4, District 5 as well. And again, where most of the warehousing industrial area is in District 5. And yes, and we're looking forward to another company to be coming in. 200 plus jobs.
Okay, so well, that reminds me of, is the up-and-coming marijuana plant, that's in District 5 as well?
Yes.
Okay, give me your take on that, because I've expressed some of my concerns about it, and that's how well will they be able to contain that?
Yes, you know what, we talked over with the owners, and security-wise, it's as good as Fort Knox. I mean, the state had mandated that the security, I mean, from video surveillance to alarm systems and things of that nature. I don't believe they will have any problems with any type of theft or break-ins or things of that nature.
Okay, all right. You seem pretty secure with it.
Yeah.
So are you for it?
Yeah, yes, you know, I mean, it's something, it's a drug for the sense of helping those that need it.
Absolutely.
And as long as those people that needs it, you know, with the subscription medically, you know, need it, it's gonna give them a better life, you know. I believe they should be able to
have that medicine, letting the people know what you've done, what you plan to do, and what you look forward to in the city of Joliet, making the city of Joliet a safer, better place to live.
Yes.
And you've been working on that for your first term, and if you give him a chance, he will continue it in his second term. Am I not right about that?
You're 100% right.
Okay, and I happened to notice that you were out yesterday. I had the opportunity to see you out supporting the new tumbling gym that we have, TJ's Tumbling Dynasty.
Yes.
You and your wife Deidre, you were out there in support of that. It was an awesome event, a grand opening. So tell me a little bit about that, and that's in District 5 as well.
That's in District 5 as well.
You have some wonderful things in District 5.
Yes, we really do. It's really, I wish I could name them all, but there's so many of them. But yeah, TJ Creel, which is my wife's cousin, he just, as you said, over the weekend, opened up a tumbling gym, gymnastics, and I think that's wonderful, you know, being a young man from, you know, the east side of Joliet.
Absolutely. That'll be airing in the near future. You guys will get a chance to see.
Yeah, and it was a great event,
Yes,
very
it was.
well attended, and, you know, we're just looking forward for him to do real, you know, great things, you know.
I would like for you at this point, Mr. Morris, to look into the camera and tell those people that you're running and to vote.
Okay, yes. Good morning. Hello, this is again Terry Morris, a District 5 councilperson. I'm seeking re-election for the City of Joliet councilperson. I would love to have your support. I spent the last 4 years working hard, you know, for you, and hopefully I will earn your support over the last 4 years, and the next 4 years we will even work even harder for you, to be that voice for you at the city level, as well as connecting with county and state officials, as well as our federal elected officials. Again, April 7th, go out and vote. It's very important. And for District 5 residents, I ask you for your support.
Well, Terry, first of all, that's the reason we hired the city manager. He has a staff. I'm not on the city council. I can't look at the budget. But you've been on the city council for 4 years. Okay? It's my time. You've been on the council for 4 years and nothing has happened. First of all, I would use private donations. Private donations. You have to go to these businesses and be seen and sell yourself. That's what you have to do. If I'm elected for the city council, I guarantee you'll know who I am. I'm about business. I'm a no-nonsense guy, and I don't take no for an answer. I'm going to keep at you until you say yes. These kids need jobs, and we need to do something about it.
First, I'm going to start out, why am I running for Joliet City Council? I believe I have the experience and the record to make a difference and to make Joliet better. My campaign slogan is that I'm committed to making Joliet a safer and better place. Some of you may know me because I've served 12 years on the Joliet Park District Board of Commissioners, and during that 12 years I was elected 4 times to the presidency of the board. The Joliet Park District, I believe, I'm very proud of the record I have on the Joliet Park District. We've accomplished a lot in 12 years, even with all of our budget constraints. We are now under a balanced budget, but at the same time, over the last 12 years, we've been able to expand our facilities, improve our programs, and increase offerings to a larger area community. And as you know, just recently in November, we did an unprecedented effort of 71% of the voters across the city of Joliet actually voted for a referendum to the Joliet Park District. I saw that more of a sign of trust and faith and good government in the Park District than really a vote to increase your taxes. The people believe the government of the Joliet Park District is an example of good government that meets the needs of the people across the community, and I'm very proud to be associated with that. So I do believe I have the record and the experience. A little bit about myself. I live in Joliet. I'm a lifelong resident of Joliet. I live in District 2. I have 3 young boys. My oldest boy is in 8th grade. I have an 8th grader, 6th grader, and 4th grader. So yes, I am committed to Joliet for the future. I plan to stay in Joliet. I want a better and safer Joliet. I am endorsed by the Joliet Police Department, the Will County Sheriff's Association, and also the Joliet Police Officers Association. The reason they came forward and endorsed me is because I know that crime and safety is an issue in Joliet. And when you don't feel safe walking out of your house or walking down the streets or walking around your neighborhood, that is a major issue. I see that in my district, and I know that's an issue around the community. So I'm concerned about that. I would support efforts to make Joliet a safer and a better place. I'm also an administrator at Lockport Township High School. I see many of you in here that are former porters. I was a former principal. I'm now a school administrator in the district office, and I handle and I handle curriculum and instruction. My principal experience allowed me to work with many people. When I was a teacher, I was in the union. When I was a principal and I was a school administrator, I'm on the other side of the desk. In my career, I've been able to work with both sides and all people. So my principal experience, my experience on the park board has allowed me to work with all kinds of people, all different groups, all different organizations to make things better wherever we're at. So again, I appreciate your support. I hope you do get everyone out to vote on April 7th. And thank you all for being here today. Thank you.
Now, I don't live inside a box. So, yeah, that's ground rule number 1. Number 2, I'm not going to tell you about my activities because you already know my activities. Number 3, to run the city of Joliet, you got to walk and know what's going on. Because you can't run nothing if you don't get out and see what's going on. Second of all, I'm the kind of person and speak to kids and city citizens. And I'm the kind of person that you got that will get the job done. You got 2 people. You got people that talk a bunch of stuff and people that are workers. I hope that I'm working. Now, I had an opportunity to be on the hospitality board, okay? And they were going this way. But because of the work ethics, we were able to go this way. Now, the good thing about this is that I'm retired. And that means I have more time than I did when I was 33. I used to go up to Kaufman Law. I could never win with Kaufman Law because West Side would always beat me. But now I'm retired. Now, I tell boys all the time, you know, if you want somebody to get the job done, now I'm not gonna sit here and tell you who endorses me, because that don't mean nothing. The only thing that means anything to me is are you a worker or not? You can't be both. You can't talk to people and not produce. Now, I can't sit here and make a bunch of promises because I don't know what everyone on board is doing, okay? All I know is I'm just one vote if I get elected. But what I want you to understand is that, hey, if you want somebody who grew up in the city and went to college, I went to Liza Kelly right around the street. And I went to Washington High School. I went to Joliet Central. Okay? You want somebody that has the whole interest of the city. It's about the problem. Now, it's all up to the board. If you want me to work for you, and see, once there's a money factor involved, now it gives people the right to call. Or when you volunteer your time and doing stuff, it's still fun. But the bottom line is, I'm here to work for the city of Joliet. I am a product of your school system. I am a product of Joliet, Illinois. I remember a long time ago when King got shot. I lived on 212 South Chicago Street. I saw Green Valley get burned down. I said, Lou, and I was only 15 years old. And I said, if I could ever be somebody important, I would give it 110%. Now you already know my accolades. You already know my subject. You already know my daughter. You already know James' accolades. So it's up to the voters.